Okay.
Hey, there you are.
Hey man,
What's
how
up,
you
bud?
doing,
How
man?
you doing?
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too, man. It's finally to get a
Yeah,
face and talk with you, man. This amazing music, man. I can talk all day
yeah.
about music, but I'm not going to do
I
that because you'll have plenty of time to do that. So,
I appreciate you just caring about it and appreciating it. Honestly, I've seen you. We've been connected for a while, right? Like
yeah, it's been oh gosh, 2 or 3 years. I mean, I guess I can go into it.
Yeah.
You hit me up, and it's been a while since I'll get like an artist that's like, hey, here's my music, listen to it, check it out. A lot more people are taking the time to like, they'll do ads or whatever, but you're like, hey man, you look like you have good music taste. Here's
Yeah.
my music, check it out. And it was Paranoia.
Oh, okay.
It was like I was like, oh yeah, I'll check it out. And I listened to it, and it was just like it just hit me, and I was like, this is amazing. Like it just blew my mind, man. Like I was because usually I'm like, okay, I can kind of listen to something and go, okay, I kind of know where this is going. But that one was like, it was such a curveball, I guess I can say. And it was just so creative and different and eccentric. It's a beautiful, beautiful song. I encourage everybody to check it out. I love your new stuff, but
Wow,
that one I go to, and it's always on my repeated playlist. Like I can if
dude.
yeah, if I have a song that I like to like repeat over and over again, that's the list. And your song is like number
Oh,
two. So yeah.
dude, that's so exciting, man. And yeah, it's an honor. And yeah, that you sorry, are we recording right now for the
Yeah,
podcast?
I just started up. It's fine. It's just we're just going loose with it. It's fine.
Okay, cool. Sounds good.
Yeah, you're
Oh yeah, just that you said it was a curveball, and I love that that can still that it because that's what I love too about music, and I'm always worried that it's not going to be that like where you listen to something and it's like, oh, this is kind of that unexpected. I wanted to hear this unexpected part, and
yes.
they gave me that. So that's cool if it came through like that.
No, it really did. It really did. Go ahead and plug what you got going on. You got a new song and a tour coming up. Go ahead and let everybody know what's going on.
Oh yeah, we do. Yeah, we have this American Zombie tour that's from September 11th through the 22nd, and it's just a short run, but it starts in Nashville and goes through Texas and California and ends in Seattle. We hit Portland, and yeah, I'm just very excited about the lineup. I feel like there's really great quality artists on it, and we put out a single called American Zombie, and yeah, that was just. I was glad that people liked the Bones. I had this initial idea, and they're just like, everyone was on board by it. And that sometimes you're just never sure if what you're doing is good anymore. But it was like, okay, everyone's on board, and everyone made their own parts and brought it to another level. And I tried to make it about uh, like touch the topic on derealization, like this experience of being overstimulated, and you're kind of just like to protect yourself being so numb, like you have to like kind of shut down to protect yourself in the amount of stimulation we're living in now, and it makes you feel like you're not living in reality, like a dream world. So I tried to talk about that, but yeah, that's what's going on.
And those are the people you're going on, like the artists that you have on there, or the ones you're going on tour with.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Fantastic, dude. That's great that you pulled that together. That's kind of a rare thing. I don't see a lot of artists where they'll go, "Hey, here's my new song, and here's also the artist that I'm going on tour with." I think that's fantastic.
Yeah, I thought I never would have thought to do a song collab, but my manager was that was what he suggested at the beginning. I was like, oh yeah, if we could pull it off. It's like there's only so many hours or like so many weeks before that you have. So I'm glad we barely pulled it off, and it was a great idea.
Yeah.
Cool idea.
Are you working on anything new right now, or are you just kind of like, are you?
Definitely. I've been trying to think about this one because I'm like it's like that tension of putting you need to put out new stuff, but then I have this baby that I've been nurturing and trying to bring to the total finish line, a concept album. And so I'm very close, and I'm really hoping that when I'm back in October that I can kind of put that in the bag and start fleshing out like the visuals for that world. But it's I'm really excited about it. It's a whole story, and yeah, it's just in American Zombie. Actually, the line came from the title of that came from a line on on the first track of that album. So yeah,
Oh man, I can't wait to hear it. I love concept
thank
albums.
you.
Yeah,
Yeah, you do.
yeah,
Or your
yeah.
concept guy. Yeah, I'm glad that it's not a dead, like nobody
No,
advocates for concept albums anymore. So I'm glad they, and I feel like I'm like, well, this is the only thing that would give me like meaning, or like, I can't just go without doing that.
yeah,
That's the Yeah. So that's cool that you appreciate it.
yeah, man. What inspired you, like musically, man? Like where to begin? What was your like inspiration, and what inspired you to pursue music?
Oh, yeah, I was kind of in a household that you know, there was like everyone's household good. There was hard things about it and great things about it, and one thing that everyone was very like my mom and sisters were dancers, so they're always playing music and choreographing stuff. And my dad and brother played piano, and my brother was in the drum line, and so he kind of got me into starting with the drums. I kind of was just put into it. So that was a kind of a good lucky thing. And then past marching band, I met the founder of this band, Javon, who passed away, but he got me into the rock element of it, which is a totally different thing, the concert band. And so I just fell in love, and it felt like, oh, this is it was the fun. I felt like I belonged, and it was like the funnest thing ever. He had great music, and I didn't take it as seriously. But then I left to college for 1 year, and then I came back, and then he made new songs, and I was just like, oh my gosh, like this should not be slept on. I don't think I can just like pretend this doesn't exist. I have to like drop out and like try to go
Yeah.
for it, because I felt like the music was so good.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you felt just like moved with music, and so I mean, you grew up in a what music household? You said.
Yeah, pretty musical. Yeah, like I guess, yeah, like anyone's parents are playing their albums that they loved. And
Yeah.
so my mom was always, she was playing like Prince and a lot of dance pop, Prince and Michael Jackson and Queen and Bowie, and my dad was like more soft rock. And but yeah, my dad and my brother was a classical pianist, so I had to like, when I was growing up, I had to like go
Yeah.
bang on, I wake up and I'm like, stop playing the piano. I got to get some sleep. Like, you're always playing classical music. But it was a good, yeah, it was a good place to live, I guess, with that.
What was your like your introduction, like your personal, where you're like, this is my music, this is what moved me? What was your albums, your bands, whatever?
Yeah, man, it was all of it was it was like Green Day and Blink and Sum 41. It was like the punk stuff, and then My Cam and Fall Out Boy and All American Rejects, and just yeah, all those. I guess it's pop punk, or
Mhm.
emo bands, but it was just yeah, just Take You Back Sunday just really spoke to me. This kind of like yeah, melodic, but like beautiful, like angsty, dissonant sounding harmonies. Like it just, the Used, like I really
Yep.
really was connecting with the Used, and like just how he just allowed me to like be like, oh, I'm just like gonna go insane in my car and listen to this,
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
scream this, yeah.
He's fantastic. I saw him just years before Warp Tour. They were on Ozfest, and I was working in the parking lot at a like a an arena, and
Oh,
I was working second stage, backstage in the parking lot, like flagging in the band's vans.
oh,
I got to meet,
sick, dude.
yeah, I got to meet the Used and like OTEP and some other bands, and but yeah, they were like sticking their head out as they're driving in, their bus or whatever, and I'm like,
The band.
yeah, the band, yeah, Burton, the guitarist, I can't think of his name off the top of my head, but they're just like looking around, and I'm like, come on this
Yeah.
way, whatever. So they popped out and they came over and started talking with me while I'm working and stuff. Yeah, they're fantastic, dude.
Dude, what, I would kill to meet Bert. That would
Yeah,
be, or like just the whole band. But that's amazing. And you got to, your introduction was at the exciting point when you finally arrive, and you're
yeah,
just like, yeah, we're here. How you doing?
yep.
That's that's awesome.
It's fantastic. Tell me about the character of Demi. Like, what spawned that? And it's kind of evolved as a character as well. Tell me about that.
Yeah. The it's, yeah, it's this like idea. Like initially it was just like, okay, the paper sack character was just like, okay, we're gonna it was like a impulsive decision to go take a photo shoot with whatever I had in my closet. Like, here's a striped shirt, and I just bought these red suspenders somewhere. This kind of looks like a mime. I didn't really put that together at the moment, but then I was looking at Saul Steinberg. He's this cartoonist for the New Yorker, but he also does photo shoots where people were wearing bags over the head, and I was just like, oh, I'm just gonna make my own bag. And then yeah, and then I just was looking at it. I'm like, this just, I couldn't articulate it or put in words why it was impactful, but I was just like, it's the most humble thing to just put not a beautiful mask on, but just like a very not vain mask, like I'm a nobody maybe. And then it kind of just like, I'm just looking at that character and how the fans are like kind of co-collaborating with like, hey, how you're seeing this is kind of like this is a really troubled, conflicted individual with like, there's it's just that so I just start seeing this like, here's this like Holden Caulfield, Donnie Darko character
Yeah.
that's just like doesn't fit in, that has existential questions, that has that angst. They're like alienated, and they're going through it. They're a hypersensitive person. So yeah, that's kind of where that's what I think of when I look at it.
Yeah, I get it. I can kind of see where you're kind of at this point where you're an artist, but you don't want everybody to focus like on your face. You know what I mean? Where a lot of these
Right.
so focus on the music. You kind of got the bag, which was brilliant. Just because it's got a lot of like I'm trying to think of the right word, but a lot of history where it's almost like satire and but you kind of add a beautiful element with just the bag over the head. You know what I mean? And you kind of add a beautiful art to it. And a lot of your early stuff, like with Change Me and all the songs that kind of followed after that, was pictures. And then it was like cartoons and all that. Like it's such a great progression. Tell me about who you worked with and who kind of did the like the artistic work, like the drawings and the cover art. That's the word I'm looking for. The cover art for
Oh yeah, for all the
it's a big
covers, the
question. I'm sorry.
progression of
I
it.
kind of
Yeah,
dropped.
yeah, all the progression of the songs.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude. For one, I appreciate you so much for just yeah going to the back catalog and being like, oh,
Oh, of course.
I noticed this progression. Yeah, and it kind of just it's been this natural thing, but I it started with yeah more. All the covers were just like, I want it all to be about this character, and like you said, I just don't want the attention on me. I'm just very shy, and
Of
I don't
course.
like the idea. It's very uncomfortable to just be like, be vain, and I know that that's almost a requirement to be a
Yes.
musician to really
Yeah,
get
unfortunately, yeah.
attention.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I try, but I think yeah, it just was like started with photo shoots, and I can't remember where the turn was, what track, but I it started
Go
just
back. I had it. Let me set it up. Hold on one sec. I had it pulled up. Let me because it was uh, I know I feel irresponsible being on my phone. So
no,
the
yeah, I
last time
should
you used
know this.
the bet, well, I mean, kind of, but like with the pictures was Curious Case
That's right.
of
And
them.
then
Yeah.
paranoia was just like this. We took that photo in a neighborhood and
Yes.
then added it, so it looked. It came out. It's a super cool. It was just like we tried to do like, oh, here's going to be like a really clean shot photo, and
Yeah.
then it just was very blurry, and we're like, oh, let's make it
It's
like it
perfect.
looks.
It's great. Yeah, I like that great. The album cover alone for Paranoia, the black and white, like it's so intense. Like, and it's such a great music video that comes attached to it. So
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, that was yeah, and then I guess yes, talk therapy on.
mhm.
I was finding, I'm not sure exactly it was, who knows what our influences are really, because I would be like, oh, it kind of turned into like a gorillas thing instead of just like an actual photo shoot. But I don't know if that was it wasn't intentional for sure, but maybe it
Right.
was influenced by that. But it was like, I would rather make this into like, if the sky was the limit, then this would just all be animation to me. If I That would be the goal,
Yeah, I
because
get it.
there's so much more you can do with that, or like AI now. Like
Mhm.
if you can make an immersive, kind of surreal world, yeah.
Yeah, who did the cover? Like, I mean, if you want to give a shout out on the people who did the cover art for it.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
If they
that's just
hear this,
quick. Yeah.
they're gonna kill me. Okay, so I will say that every cover every cover art artwork, it's still on the website
Okay.
shop, and they all the artists are credited there.
Okay, good.
Yeah, but Ghost is the name of the artist for the recent voice notes and Chemical Rabbit Hole.
Okay.
And why am I blanking on the exact name? Because I think the other artist that
Mhm.
was doing talk therapy and all the Purgatorium stuff,
Yeah.
he keeps changing his Instagram
Oh, okay.
handle, and he goes by different aliases. So he's already
Okay.
changed it a few times. But I think go in the shop. It's there.
Okay, yeah,
The current.
I'll add all that information. I'll add the your website and all social media in the description. So everybody who's listening to this, go to the description. We'll have all that information there. So,
Yes, yes. Thank
um,
you.
yeah, no problem. Let me see. Do you have any like? I know you've been going on tour. You've been on tour for a while. How long have you been on tour?
I've been doing tours for maybe maybe 2.5 years, about 2.5 years. Yeah, and just doing yeah, I think the I did a one a while back with this band Purple Hearts, and then I stopped for like a year and a half, and then went with yeah, I did some stuff with this band Sink In, one with Band Full of Nuns, one with TX2, and then two with Sky Daddy, and then this one. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any like pre-show rituals that you do to kind of get yourself in the mindset and or pump yourself up or whatever?
Oh, yes, I do. Let's see. I try to get some alone time, maybe like try to, because it's one thing after the next, like drowning logistics or just running the merch or doing anything. But yeah, try to be like 20 minutes in at least, just like going behind backstage and just kind of like trying to center myself and be grounded so I don't ramble up a storm that's not present on stage. So I'm just trying to mainly do that. But and then I do vocal warm ups. Like I follow this Jacob's vocal exercises on on YouTube, and
Yeah.
just try to loosen up, because if I don't do that, it will be very my voice will get constricted in my nasal and neck and sound a little too restricted.
Yeah. Who do you going on? Like, who's the band lineup? Who do you have for your band? Do you have a drummer and you, or are you adding more people?
Yeah, right now it's just a drummer and me. I'm bringing on my drummer that I was playing with when my brother came into the mix in the past. We made an EP, and he was writing for that album, but he was playing with me at that time, and I knew him from the past, from Austin. So yeah, he's coming on me with this one, and it's just him, Jake Rabin, and I'm on the keys and the bass, and then we're kind of relying on a good speaker system for the rest of the backtracks to make it sound full. And
Yeah.
yeah, in the future, I would love to add a guitarist when the means allow. So
Yeah. Tell me about like the songwriting process. Like, where do you sit down and just kind of like write for the wastebasket, or is it started off as poems and all this? Like, what's your process?
yeah, I've been learning to change it up recently. I was suggested by another producer, and he was just like, like you could you yeah, I'm kind of getting sometimes lost in the production and not really having a strong melody to start with. So I'm trying to start now with just like getting on an acoustic instrument like the keys, and making ideas that stand alone with that. But usually, thus far, it's always been make the arrangement in Pro Tools with a beat from my voice notes, and I kind of just that's probably the thing that I do the most. Where I'm just driving and I think of like a beat, and I try to match that with a chord progression that I love, and then sing over that, and then yeah, the lyrics are just usually I'll have an idea. Like if I hear a song, then it'll fuel me to finish something, or like it'll make me think of a problem that I have, and like have a concrete thing to focus and finish something on. But yeah, I think that usually it's yeah, here the lyrics are just, yeah, I journal a lot, and I'm aware of certain problems that won't go away, and then I'm like, all right, here's this concept, and I'm going to try to struggle through it until I can fully understand and process it, so I can have like a linear idea. Not and I've never been really good at like free flow.
No,
I'm
I
a
get it.
slow
I wish I
writer.
could do that too. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Yep.
um, when you started out, were you just working on songs like in your room, like you're like a bedroom producer, or kind of writing a melody out and all that kind of stuff, like small laptop
Mm.
keyboards, or were you kind of working with other people?
No, well, yeah, it was like three phases, I guess, and I was like just the drummer, and Jovan, the guy who started this, like he was him and Mark. There were two guitarists, amazingly, really worked well together, and he just kind of fleshed out a lot of stuff. He was really ahead for his age, and I just made the beat. I just made the drums, and then from there I started looking at what they were doing and being like, hey, I'm kind of the one that like is wanting to bring this to the finish line and tweak the transitions and perfect it. And then so I kind of was doing a little producing there. And then when my brother came into the mix, he was making all the melodies, and that's when I first started writing the lyrics to his melodies and was producing it. And actually I was it was 21 Pilots. I was listening to their stuff, and then I saw some video of him making a beat in his bus, and it was just like something he did made me understand that I could make the parts myself, and I didn't always need to rely on people. And so it kind of gave me that like jump start to be like, hey, I can just sit with my Casio keyboard and plug that in MIDI and just try to make all the parts myself. And so that was the last one. Yeah, and then from then on it was pretty much me just trying to do that, and then working with different producers lately, which is a different story. It's a lot quicker process for sure,
Yes.
because you have help. I'm not used to that kind of help and that efficiency, but yeah.
Who you been working with? What producers lately have you been?
I the let me see I was working with a lot of mixers before, so like Sean O'Keefe. He did Magic and Accidents, and he was on the Fall Out Boy records, and some of them, the early ones, and Senses Fail and stuff. And then I went with Austin Bello,
Mhm.
who's with Forever the Sickest Kids, to mix some stuff, and then was with Jonathan Dolis, and he was kind of like mixing and a little bit of producing of My Purgatorium. And then I went in with Jaden Seeley. He's from the band With Confidence, and he made that in a day. It was just one of those, like, it was a songwriting. Those are the first times that it's been a songwriting slash song finish thing. So Jaden Seeley, and then oh my God, what is wrong with my brain? I'm so
Okay.
sorry if I'm
No,
blanking
you're
out.
good. Hey,
Uh,
don't be worried about it. You're good.
no, I should not. Yeah, something. I feel real. I got to shout.
You're okay.
My Chem, My Chemical. Oh, Stefan. Duh.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Stefan was. I'm sorry, Stefan. I was thinking we were when you deal with publishing, you see everyone's full name, and
Yep.
Stefan has the longest name I've ever seen in my life. It's a very sophisticated name, so that's why I was blanking. But yeah,
Oh, you're good.
Stefan. My Chemical Rabbit Hole, and then Colin Dead was with Rat Boy, and yeah, and that was co-written, and all the credits are in. Lino produced it, and Samuel Preston helped co-write it, and then
Cool.
yeah, and this so sorry, this final one, American Zombie,
Yeah.
Connor Daniels, he's works with Big Noise
Yeah.
with John Feldman, and that's that.
No, you're good. You have like a very solid online community with you and your fans. Sometimes you'll go live on Instagram and just kind of ramble. You kind of have like what you've been going through lately mentally and all that. Tell me about
Yeah.
bringing everybody together and how you're so open about like mental health and everything. Like, I think it's beautiful. So talk to me about that.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's a good way of yeah, it really is. I try to, I as not as bad as I am at making content that is for reach sake. I do feel like I really do love to prioritize just keeping up with a deeper connection with the people that already know about this thing. So that's usually the Discord is a good place for people to meet each other of all different types of interests, like gamers or cosplay or artists, and or venting about anything. But and on Instagram, I try to just keep up with the stories, and like you said, just like what's going on personally, like as I'm processing things in real time, can I share
Yeah.
something that will help? Because I do have that urge to always share. I must be a yapper, but
No,
I'm
you're
trying
good.
to, yeah, I try to make it helpful. So yeah, this it's just a great place, I feel like, for somebody to come, if as they are, and be vulnerable without judgment. And like if they aren't being heard or understood in their everyday life, this is where they can come. And just a bunch of neurodivergent weirdos, as far as I can see, and I love that.
Yeah. No, you had one with American Zombie at a Discord. How did that go with the release? And you had a whole Discord and everybody came together. Tell me about
Oh,
that. Come along.
oh,
Yeah.
that was It was amazing. Yeah, it was so fun. Like I'm just honored by like people like you that can hear the song and be like, hey, I recognize I love that. It feels
Yeah.
so good. And that the Discord, they get really, whoever comes to these parties, they get really pumped up about like hearing the song and giving their first reactions to it. And then we actually, in the moment, I don't even know how we spawned off into this idea where like people were like, well, I play ukulele, I play the flute, I
Mhm.
play the bagpipes, I play all these random things, or I play drums. And I'm like, why don't we just make a cover collab song for this track? So we made a Google folder, and I'm really hoping that everybody contributes
Oh,
some kind of clip. I'm like, just don't overthink it, just contribute anything, and let's do like a little compilation with everyone just doing their thing. Yeah.
that's fantastic. That's great. Tell me about your first, like you as Demi, your first show coming out on stage and being like, here it is. Tell me about that.
My very first
Your
show,
very
like,
first show as Demi, you as Demi, no like band, you're not playing drums in the band. It's just you, Demi. Here I am. Here's me. How did that feel?
oh my gosh. It's hard. It's honestly hard for me to remember the very first time, but I think at one point, early on, I was inspired by one act who just was a one-man band, and he was
Mhm.
jumping between the drums and everything.
I've done
So I
that. Yeah,
tried that.
I know
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
I've
dude,
done.
yeah.
I'll do drums and then I'll have keys where I'll kind of play like a beat and then I'll kind of key. I got like a
Oh,
desk and then a drum set and I'll do like a whole thing. So believe me, I understand that. Yeah.
I did not know that. That's a
Yeah, yeah.
dude. Mad respect. It's so hard to
It's hard
pull
to do.
off. So
It's hard to do.
almost, yeah, almost everybody after that show was just like, honestly, I felt bad for you up there, man. I felt really bad. I'm like, man, this is the feedback I'm getting, that they're feeling bad for me because I
Oh
was so
no.
my like, you're supposed to, as hard as it is to perform, you're supposed to just like, it's supposed to look easy. That's what like makes you pro, I guess. But so it was just early on, and I was trying to juggle all that stuff like you're talking about, and it was just, there was just like my interface, for some reason, it was just going out the whole time, and I'm like, oh, time out, guys. I'm sorry. Hold on one second. It was just like very, yeah, yeah.
Oh man.
But it was a huge. And I've been in a lot of those situations where I feel like I'm humiliated. I'm also a very shy person, so I probably easily humiliated. But I was humiliated, and it was character building, you
Yeah.
could say.
What song do you feel your fans are most connected to that they'll hit you up and go, this one speaks to me the most? Which one would you feel?
That I get the most often.
Yeah, where people like I'm most connected to this song and it spoke to me, it helped me get me through. What would be your top one, I would say.
Yeah, it's funny. The ones that do well on Spotify are not the ones that people come about the most. I think that it was. I can think of three. I'm trying to see which one is the most, but it's Rain Dogs and Boy Who Blocked the Sun and Heaven Doesn't Know My Name.
Yeah.
So yeah, and those are. I mean, maybe they're not like commercial friendly songs or something, but Rain Dogs is about having a real disability that nobody can see, that gets in the way of your daily life, and you feel like it's people are not understanding the hardship of that. And then Boy Who Blocked the Sun was just like, yeah, my experience with just like deep depression
Mm.
and what's going through my thoughts when that happens. And then Heaven Doesn't Know My Name is just questioning the idea of what God and spirituality is, when you can't help but intellectualize
Mhm.
stuff like that. Then it's going to take a while to like to really find out how you see it, and what really makes sense here, because I'm not going to follow, what the prescribed way is. It's just too, it doesn't make sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you grow up in El Paso? Like, what was that like for you growing up? Like, I understand you deal with a lot of mental illness. I do too. My wife does too. Tell me
uh,
about just the growing up process, going to school and everything like that for you. I mean, if you want to go personal or deep,
yeah,
something like that.
yeah, I feel like I was raised, I was the youngest child, a sibling, and with uh very big personalities of siblings. So I think early on, um my boundaries, my voice was squashed, and so I feel like I went out into the world, and I was the quiet fly on the wall. I didn't really speak my piece. I was just kind of like this introverted guy that kind of was going along with whatever and just trying to stay alive in a very machismo dominated city.
Wow.
So I was yeah, there was like fights, and I didn't want to get killed. So
Yeah. I get
I was just trying to be peaceful, or like trying to be, I had to put my pride aside and just survive. I felt like, but it wasn't horrible, but that's the way it was. And so it was that was hard. I feel like it kind of contributed, added on to my already very nervous, um stressful system. I'm just a high strung nervous person, so it kind of just was, yeah, very really hard to survive, I feel like. And I kind of got away and then try to lessen the fear. Yeah.
Wow. No, I get it. I get it because I totally understand. My wife, she deals with she's got selective mutism and anxiety. Like she just has to be,
Oh.
yeah. And then I deal with, ADD, ADHD, all that stuff. And I've gotten to the point where I've become like more introvert. So that's why I started doing the podcast, because I'm like, let me talk with more artists, let me talk with more people, let me get myself out there and kind of like build a community where we can all just talk about being artists and dealing with a lot of stuff that goes on around us. You know what I mean?
That is fantastic. That's so good because you're channeling. I feel like ADD is, if anybody's really got it, the imbalance of ADD. I have it too. I'm bipolar and ADD, and if you, it's almost. What am I saying? It's so hard to channel
Yes.
thoughts. It makes it almost impossible. So the fact that you found this, that you're doing this outlet, and it's going to be you channeling your very hyperactive mind in the best possible way. So I'm glad. I'm really glad you're making this. I want to tell everybody about it, and it'd be, because yeah, you get it. And
Yeah.
also, I haven't met anyone with selective mutism
Yeah.
yet. So that's where you are in. Do you, does she do that with people she's comfortable with too, like with you? Was she not speak?
She was only comfortable with her family. It took her 6 months before she would talk to me. A lot of stuff was I'd ask her like yes or no questions, or most of the stuff was via text. Like if I go into detail, like, hey, do you want something from the store? Do you want something from the gas station? Like early on when we started dating, I'm like, if it's a conversation based, it's all on the phone. If it was like yes or no questions, it could be, whatever. But it took her six
Wow.
months. And the funny thing is, the first time she told me she talked to me was the first time she told me she loved me. So it was like one of those moments where I was like,
Mhm.
oh, yeah, yeah,
That is amazing. Oh
yeah.
my god. That's like that's a movie. That's
It's
so
a movie.
romantic to me. That's very romantic. Yeah. Like, because it showed that love was not necessarily dependent on words, or like it doesn't. You don't have to. It's like energy and sentiment. Yeah, that's
Yeah, no,
awesome, man.
she's very, very open with, me, I've done music and now I'm doing the podcast, and she's like, hey, just keep doing what you're doing, do what you love. So, how do
All you
people
could ask
stay
for.
connected? Oh, sorry. How do people stay connected with you on social media? You got, what do you got going on?
Yeah, probably I'm most active on Instagram stories. That just seems to be my default if I'm
Yeah.
sharing personal thoughts. And then the Discord is where I'll meet every Wednesday. We'll have meets, and it's just basically like a therapy session where everyone gets to have a 5 minute share, and I'm there most times if the schedule allows. And so that's a more intimate setting with, if you want to build deeper relationships with the fan community. But and then TikTok, I'm kind of there. I'm trying
I'm
to.
trying
I
to.
don't
I
know.
get it. I get it. I'm trying.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm trying to
yeah.
figure it out.
Huh. But yeah, anybody can sign up. There's a link in the bio also for our text list and email list,
Okay.
and I'm also sharing a little bit more in depth behind the scenes stuff there. Yeah, other thoughts.
Yep. Fantastic. Do you do Facebook? I mean, it doesn't seem like too overly active, but you still update on Facebook.
I still update on Facebook. Yeah, 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 for sure.
All right, cool. So I'll add that to the
Yeah,
list.
how do
So was
yeah.
Change Me your first song out, or do you have any like early demo works, anything unreleased that you're not ready to tell everybody about?
Oh, yeah, yeah. So, oh yeah, golly. Wait. Oh no, no. So, yeah, Secret Schizoid was before Change Me,
Oh, was it? Okay.
and actually, no, I'm sorry. Secret Schizoid, I think I must have re-released it. I think it came out right before Change Me,
Okay.
and then re-released it into an album
Yeah.
with Sly Dog and Change Me. But
Okay, cool. Yeah.
yeah, everything before that is if you want to go browse on YouTube, you'll see some stuff
Please do.
that we
Yeah,
made.
I
If
encourage everybody to listen to this. Please do. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, go if you want to search Schizoid in a Moratorium. That was an EP that we made with my brother, and it's probably my best lyrics. But yeah, it's different characters and whatnot. And then with Jovan, his stuff, you'll be able to see yeah, songs like Speakeasy or In the Biz or Cocktail of Convoluted, just whatever words we were trying to think sounded cool at the time. We were gonna use that for titles, and they're good songs. I feel like
Great
they're
songs.
great songs.
They're
Yeah, they're good.
fantastic. What was your experience going in as an artist and going to like signing up for like a record label? Was that a positive experience for you so far?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a I think that they were great. Working with Adventure Cat, um, Mike Kaminsky, and Matthew Clark. Mainly was talking with them throughout it, and they just have a lot of experience in the niche, and they were very, very supportive. They Yeah, just like they want to nurture bands that are not necessarily like they. I feel like I love that they're for the underdog in a way.
Mhm.
And then they'll go to bat for these people, even though they're not just chasing like, did you have a viral TikTok post? Therefore, I will talk with you. It's like they're. It was more about the integrity of it, which I really appreciated. And they were, yeah, and Mike Kaminsky was very always lended an ear, and is very loyal person. So I think it was a great experience, and it was awesome to be able to experience having a label.
Cool, man. No, it's fantastic. It's good to find. I find a lot of artists, and we'll talk about label work and stuff. And some are like, here's a great a label, and here's where I had issues with this label, and blah blah blah. And so it's good that as you're starting out, you're like, I'm having a positive experience with these labels. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that's true. Yeah, most of the time, I feel like we could get in that mindset of being like, look, like it's always going to be a push and pull of like, what are we bringing to the table?
Yeah.
So if we're sharing the masters, what will you bring in return of that? Or if they're like, I'm giving you this money, what are you going to do for me to promote this song to get it more streams? It's just always that. So yeah, I'm trying to just look at it as like, all right, like not be like, what are you gonna do for me? Huh? What are you gonna like? Just be like, how can I just be of service? And hey, if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But how can I just show up and be my best self? Yeah.
No, I get it. Do you have any like tour stories, anything that crazy that happened to you?
Oh man. Well, let's see. My mind just jumped to. I brought it up on the last podcast I was on. Maybe in case they don't hear both of them. I was yeah. There was this last Trauma Core tour was. I thought it was really just overall just like such a rich experience of drama and like in a reality, like this is like you're it's hard to explain, like you're going with people who are living in reality. It's not necessarily just privileged people with very cookie cutter existences. Like people are going to bring in. So the amount of stories that I heard, it was nuts. But I did have a case where somebody was coming. They were talking with me beforehand, and I thought everything was okay, but then they kind of barged on stage and be like, you need to let me sing Paramore. And I was trying to be, I'm like, we just don't know the words, can you, this was like in the middle of the set, just her stopping, and I was like, we don't know, I don't even know, I don't know the chords to that, and we
Yeah.
don't have it on the backtrack. And then yeah, and so she was trying to wrestle the mic for me, and then the bouncers were keeping her away, and she was just kind of flailing at me, like just like, you are fake and like you were a fake person. And it was, I don't know, it was a big dramatic experience. I mean, there was that one experience in Columbus, I think, or in Ohio.
Yeah.
Somebody had a gun threat someone's boyfriend, so like the whole place had to
Oh,
evacuate because that person just was like had an affair with her best friend who was the, it was just there was stuff like that. And sometimes like you would think dangerous, but and then but I don't know. I'm trying to think. There's probably those were comes to my mind, and there's
yeah.
probably just a bunch of small things like, oh, us like not thinking we're gonna make it through the mountains of Portland because it was just snowing. The
Oh,
snow
yeah.
was like extremely high, and we're just like, how do we use these chain tires? I've never done it before. We're gonna get stuck here, and we didn't prepare for this. Yeah, so I don't know, just stuff like that.
Yeah. Have you had a lot of experience where when you're on tour, do you, camp out at fans' houses or sleep in the van sometimes, or do you go like hotel rooms? Like what's been your
It was mostly hotel rooms.
okay.
Yeah, it was mostly unless we had like maybe like yeah, there was some family in certain places, and
Yeah.
so it was just like yeah. So I mean yeah, I mean and it's no, I think it's probably better yeah, it's better to do it that way. It seems easier to coordinate and stuff if you just get a hotel.
Yeah. No, I get it. It makes things a lot easier. And especially if you have that extra, income or whatever it may be, it makes the living situation a lot easier just because I've known, when I went on tour or whatever, you're sleeping in the back of the van or you're, having to talk to
Yeah.
someone like, hey man, can I crash at your place? Like some fan or some band friend or whatever. It's like, oh
And
my
you
God.
end up at random. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I've done that. Yeah, I'm my head is on this last tour, but like that's definitely been a lot of the experiences. You don't know where
Yeah.
you're waking up. You're just it's yeah, like lose all track of like your surroundings at a certain point. You're just like, I don't know where I'm like
Oh
where
my,
I am right now.
it's no, I get it,
So
dude. It's
so
so dumb.
you toured too. You tour
A
experience.
long
I didn't
time
know
ago.
that.
Yeah,
Okay.
this was I used to be a drummer for different bands, kind of like one was like it was kind of a Christian band, but not really. And then that pretty much that was most of like recording and touring session. I've done more local stuff lately, but that was the time where it was like, oh, we're gonna go here and there and whatever. And so I drove separate because we were kind of on a budget. We didn't have like a U-Haul to carry the drums or whatever. So it'd be in the back of my van. And then if there was at any point where, I had to camp out at like, a fan's house or a friend of the band or whatever, or there'll be times where I'm sleeping in my van, just making sure, at some truck stop, making sure nobody bothers me or what, you know what I mean? Yeah. So
Dude, it's both. Yeah, it could be. Now, I'm sure when you look back at it now, it's an amazing experience.
it's
But
fun.
in the
It's always
moment,
a
it
fun
can be.
story. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's also in the moment you're just like, wow, I'm just surviving. I'm just moment night to night.
Right. Do you have a favorite like tour snack? Like what's your go-to? Like when I'm on tour, I got to make sure I have enough power bars. Mine are power bars and oatmeal. That was mine. What was yours?
That's a really good one. Yeah, power bars. I think this last time I did just to get protein, I was shaking up a little mix in this
Yeah.
cup. But yeah, those bars. Or I think the non-negotiable is just like, okay, I need at least a fruit and at least a veggie a
Yes.
day, and then I'll just do that.
Make sure
Yeah.
you get an apple or a banana or whatever,
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I get it. Oh my gosh. Yeah, you're like, I just want to be healthy because there's so many bands where they'll load up on, sodas and donuts and chips and stuff. And you're like, look, I can't live off this stuff because I'll be over sugared and then I'd crash. You know what I mean? Like, oh,
Yeah, I think it really is a different story for people who have a chemical imbalance of some
yes,
kind. Like if you
yes,
have ADD or like any
yeah,
kind of thing that's like, okay, I really have a mental condition. If I don't take care of my body, then it's going to be like I will get sick. My immune
yes.
system, I'm going to stress out too much. It's a stress, all these stress vulnerable diseases, and then I'm going to get sick. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. No, dude.
And even eating healthy, I always get sick on tour.
Yeah, no, I get
At
it.
some
And even
point.
now, so much more. The older I'm getting, the more I'm having like digestive issues. Like when it comes to like dairy and stuff, like I've considered like just moving to like vegetarianism or vegan or whatever, just because some things just do not add well with me.
I wonder, just a food for thought. There's
Yeah.
this one book that I'm following right now called "Eat for Your Blood Type,"
Okay,
eat
I'm
for
gonna
your
write that down.
yeah. It's just if you can find out your blood type and just give like type O, type AB, whatever, and
Yeah.
go through the chapters and then just see if it makes sense. It's kind of making sense to me right now. It might be
Okay.
placebo, but I don't know. It's you're I know how you're feeling where it's like
I think we're
we
connected. I
started.
think we yeah.
Yeah. There's our body does not accept things at a certain point.
Right. You and me both with ADD and ADHD, where I think we are trying to figure out what we can deal with and eat and all that. Oh man, did I get it?
Exactly. Oh yeah. Next level coping. You got it's hard
Yeah.
to cope. Huh.
Yeah. Um, oh my gosh. The process when you started out with Change Me and Secret Schizoid and now to American Zombie. Tell me about, do you feel like you've progressed and matured as an artist? And tell me about that process.
Yeah. Let's see. I wish if my mind goes to being discontent immediately that I'm like, I wish I could make I want to finish an album quicker because if I look at this progress and I'm just like I want to make more concept
Mhm.
bodies of work that are a cohesive idea more
Right.
so. And I've done the Secret Schizoid Magic and Accents in my period, but I would like to do a bit more of that. But the I guess the progress is that every time I'm growing through the lyrics, um, I'm coming to terms with something new. Even if I forget it and I have to rewrite about it, I'm gonna understand it a little bit better the second time around or the third time around because it just seems like that learning spiral where it's like a corkscrew and I'm like I learned something and I kind of forgot but then I learned it a little bit better and
Yeah.
so that's the good part about the lyrics. I guess there is that process of growth and letting go of old habits and negative feelings, and then the songs, yeah, I feel like I feel like I'm getting to that point where I can just I'm not intellectualizing it as much. Like I think
Yeah.
before maybe it was a little bit more like robotic, or I'm just like, okay, I need to like fix the like it's more
Overthinking.
thinking
Yeah.
based,
Yeah.
overthinking and
Yeah.
analyzing it, and then now
Yes.
I'm just like,
Yes.
how can I just let it
Yep.
how can I just let it unfurl or
Yes.
like just one full like clean sweep as much as possible and not just stay on something forever and redo and redo. Yeah.
No, I get it because I mean, at times when I would work on something, and I think my podcast has been a little bit more fluid. When I would work on a song, or if I'm, working on a video or whatever it may be, I overthink the process so damn much where it's almost like I get so mad where I'm like, I'm ready just to throw it all away just because I'm getting so frustrated. And like you overthink and you want to be a perfectionist about it, but you want to be like, you want to make sure it's the best, but you're driving yourself nuts because you feel like you're trying to be a perfectionist about everything.
Man, that's yeah, it's so true.
Yeah.
It's perfectionism is it's a curse. It can work in ways to make you really want to be proud about what you're doing, and that striving for an ideal is I feel like it makes life worth it for me. Like always waking up and striving for an ideal that's not there, but also that gap between like what you want it to be and then where you're realistically at. It's just like that's gonna make us so frustrated, like you said, just like want to throw in the towel. So that is a constant reminder saying, look, like just you at a certain point, you have to just put it out and and
No, I
just be
get it.
finished. Just complete it. Complete it is more important.
Yeah. You seem like a fan of like the spooky season, like Halloween. Like, are you feeling like a little bit more relaxed now that fall's coming? And if you feel like you're a little bit more connected, like musically, I can tell you're like Halloween and fall's coming. Like, do you feel like you're more relaxed now that's coming along?
Oh yeah, that's a good. I mean, I think the Discord was just talking about their favorite seasons, and everyone was saying fall, and I had to think
Yes.
about it. I'm like, is mine fall? I think mine is fall too. I didn't want to just copy everyone, but I think it is because yeah, yeah, it's like nostalgia of like I can picture the Haunted Mask by Goosebumps, or like I read all the Goosebumps books as a kid, and there's just that whole just the color of the leaves, and it's just like yeah, and the start of school actually was exciting if you can get it, like it was.
Yes.
It's a good time. Yeah,
Yeah.
spooky season, of course. Like anything in the macabre,
Yep.
I feel at home. Very comfortable around just grotesque environments. Yeah. Okay.
I get it. Do you have like a favorite like horror movie or like a favorite like book or something that you like to go to that you constantly connect with when it comes to fall? Like, do you have a favorite?
Oh man, that's a good. I want to ask you to answer that question after. Let's see. Go to during the fall. I never thought about it during the season. I think we do Harry Potter. That's not really. I mean,
Oh,
she's got a little
no, that's
spookiness in it,
okay. I
but
get it.
it's
I think it's
it's
the
just
music. I don't know. Yeah.
it's yeah yeah. If it were up to me, I would watch the movie Waxworks. It's like I think it was made in 1989, but I would watch that like I would watch that like every couple of weeks because it's got like every kind of horror scenario you can think of when you're diving into the different Waxworks things.
Yep.
So I would go to that, and I do pick up Edgar Allan Poe and his
Mhm.
stories, and I don't even need to read what story I just open up to a page and I'm like, yes, I feel
Yep.
very yes. So how about you?
You seem like you. I mean, I'll get to me in a little bit. A lot of your music and lyrics seem to be inspired by Edgar Allan Poe. How did that come about? Like, read it, get it from the library? Like, how did you come upon Edgar Allan Poe? And you really are seem like you're inspired by it. I think it's a beautiful thing. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, that's awesome that he's coming through. It's totally, I don't think that anything, I cannot put my finger on anything specifically that I took from him. Because sometimes I feel like, yeah, like artists are always going to take little nuggets of something and make it their own.
Yeah,
And
of
there's no
course.
shame in that really. And I
No,
do that intentionally with random things with
no,
Poe or
I'm
certain,
not saying you're ripping off, but you definitely have that
oh
inspiration.
yeah,
I can see it. I can feel it. I can see it. Like, yeah.
that's that no that's amazing with him. It was like I read it for fun, and I never tried to embody anything he was doing. I just feel like I do. I feel like I feel like I have a lot of those personality tendencies, and so it just kind of bleeds over. I'm like, oh, you're yeah, okay, it would make sense that he's talking about terror. He's talking about just suspicion, and talking about like he's a lot of hostility and despair. And I'm just like, okay, this makes sense. This yeah,
I connect with it. I can totally
I
see.
connect with it.
I connect with it. Yeah, absolutely. Mine would be, oh gosh, spooky season. Um, Night of the Living Dead is probably the one go-to horror movie. Easy to
Ooh,
find, easy to accept. Just an easy throw it on. I've seen it a million times, and hearing the audio, I'll know at what point the movie's in. Like I can play it in my head. That's how much I've seen it.
is that the first one? There's
Yeah, the
sequels
black
to
and
it,
white, the
right?
original Night of the
Yeah, the
Living
black one. Yeah. Uh-huh. Oh,
Dead.
amazing.
Book wise, I think I go more towards H.P. Lovecraft.
Ooh.
And then me and my brother, we're going to dive deep. I think at the end of September, we're going to talk about Ray Bradbury's The Halloween Tree.
Wait, how? Wait. Did Ray Bradbury? Did he make something Wicked This Way Comes by
Yes.
chance?
Yeah.
He did. Okay, so I've seen that so
Yeah.
many times. So
Yeah.
what's this one that he made?
It's called The Halloween Tree. It was a book. And then I think, was it Hanna-Barbera, the people who did like Scooby-Doo and all, they made a movie. It was like an animated movie about it. And so we're going to kind of dive deep into the book and the movie and all this other stuff. But yeah, that's kind of what
Oh,
I feel with fall. Like all that's coming. It's just like, ah, I feel like
dude.
the tensions off my shoulders when, with the 1st of September, it's just like you can feel just I'm relaxing. You know what I mean?
Dude, horror. That's a true horror macabre fan. You're getting you just it calms you. It calms you. It might scare
It
other
does.
people. They don't like it at all. It was. It's yeah. That's totally understandable. And I'm gonna watch the Halloween Tree to
Yeah,
start.
check it out for sure. So, man, I think we're pretty much covered everything. Is there anything else you want to add before I let you go?
No, can you shout, I'll share this
Yes.
on, to my community and make sure everybody listens. And I hope you guys keep up with this podcast.
Yes.
Justin, you're a very thoughtful person. I really appreciate people like you. So thank you for having me on.
Thank you.
And, if anybody's hearing this and you want to come, you are in, you're in, just go to our Instagram page and look at the cities that we're passing through. It's Nashville and Austin and Houston and LA and stuff. And I hope to see you out at a show, and join the community. You can text, just DM us on Discord, DM the Devlin Cult on the Discord for a link.
Yep,
So
I'll put
thanks
the
for
link
having
below.
me. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you,
Yeah.
buddy. You're an incredible artist. I love talking with you, man. I hope we talk again. Good luck being on tour. Good luck with all the music, man. You're incredible. Keep doing what you're doing, brother. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Justin. All right.
Take it easy,
Take
bud.
care.
See ya.
All right. Bye.